Section 7.5, Writing and Graphing Inequalities. Our essential question is, how can you use a number line to represent solutions of an inequality? So obviously it's very clear that 7.5 deals with inequalities, and you have to really know what an inequality is. It's very much like an equation. And when I say equation, we get things like, if we did y equals 2x, that's an equation. Well, an inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares expressions. An equation is a mathematical sentence that compares and evaluates those expressions. So it contains the symbols, the less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So to write an inequality, look for the following phrases to determine where to place the inequality symbol. I'll show you that chart or table just in a second. So if this is an equation, this would be an inequality. And the difference, obviously, is just an equal sign compared to the inequality sign. And if it makes sense, this says, it pretty much has the word equal in it, equation, okay? And this is an inequality, and this obviously inequality. Okay, so that's kind of your difference. It's not, everybody kind of panics about this, but it's the same principle. We just don't know whether this is true or not, because there could be options, basically the difference. So looking at this inequality symbols table that I'm going to give you, make sure you get it copied down because it's really important. It's going to be a study, something to study for the test. Alright, so look at this table that I've got here. So these are inequality symbols. So the symbol, meaning less than, if this was in a sentence, one of our mathematical sentence compared to expressions, if you see is less than, is fewer than, you're going to use your less than sign. Okay, so that's what this is representing. If you see one like this, is greater than, is more than, those are key words we're going to be using. You're going to use a sign like that. If you see a sign or symbol that looks like this, is less than or equal to, is at most, is no more than. Those are all key words or key phrases that you're going to see that represent a symbol that looks like this. And the last one is greater than or equal to, is at least, is no less than. You're going to see a symbol that looks like this. So my best advice, memorize what this is saying. Get used to hearing these words, get used to seeing them, and understanding what symbol goes with them. Example 1 is writing inequalities. So the directions would look like this. Write the word sentence as an inequality. So for this example, it says a number C is less than -4. Obviously, this is very comparable to what we did in 7.1. But be careful, because what we're talking about are inequalities. So we need to look at that table that we just drew and realize that we're seeing patterns here. So let's break it down. So first of all, a number C. Obviously, we all know that that equals C. Then we have is less than. We have to think about that. And looking back at our table where we find is less than, there's one choice. It's an inequality symbol that looks like this. Is less than, and then -4 doesn't change at all, so we leave it at -4. So an inequality would be C is less than -4. It's as simple as that. So my word sentence says a number K plus 5 is greater than or equal to 8. So if you look at this, we've got a number K, then we have the word plus, we have 5, and then our key word or key phrase in this situation is greater than or equal to, I should have went over the 2, 8. So just looking at this, I would put K plus 5 is greater than or equal to 8. So it looks just like it looks just exactly as it sounds. The biggest thing that you're going to have a challenge with is which symbol to do. So, like I said, memorizing what that table says, you'll be fine. And our third and final example for this one is 4 times a number q is at most 6. So if I were to write this out, I would put my 4 times a number q, so 4q, because when they're next to each other, it means 4 times q, is at most. So I gotta remember, what does is at most mean? So it looks like an inequality, just like that, and then 6. So 4q is at most 6. I would also read it like this. 4q is less than or equal to 6. Here are a few notes for you. So a solution of an inequality is a value that makes the inequality true. So here's a little solution of an inequality. So there's a term that we need to get used to. It's the value that makes the inequality true. An inequality can have more than one solution. And the last one is the set of all solutions of an inequality is called the solution set. So there's another key term for you. Make sure that you are understanding what those mean. So this should look familiar from a couple sections ago. If I have a table and my value of x, so 3 is my first value of x, okay? My second value of x is 4. My third value of x ends up equaling 5. So we're going to be filling that in for what x actually equals. So here's my equation down this row. I'm filling in what they told me, so I'm doing 3. Okay, so it would be plus 3, doing my inequality sign, and 7. Is that true? So all you simply do to solve it is say, well, 3 plus 3 is 6. I have my inequality sign. What does that inequality sign mean? So this is where you have to remember. Anytime, let me see if I can get a different color here. Anytime this symbol has the point going towards the number, you read it this way, right? So if that point is facing that number, okay, or the number's facing the point, that means it's less than. If the sign were this way, it would be the opposite. So 3 is greater than 7, which is not true. But in this case, it's 3 is less than or equal to 7. So let's read it like this. Get my pointer. So 6 is less than or less than or equal to 7. Is that true? Well, yeah, that makes sense. 6 is less than 7. In this situation, because it's an inequality, it could also be equal to. Because remember, inequalities can have more than one solution. And this is just proving it right here. So, if I have 4 as my value of x, I'm going to fill in 4 plus 3 is less than or equal to 7. So let's figure out this one. So 4 plus 3 is 7, is less than or equal to 7. Does that make sense? Is 7 less than or equal to 7? Well, yeah, it's equal to. And that's one of my choices. It's an inequality. It can have more than one solution. And my last one, I'm going to fill in my x. That equals 5. So 5 plus 3 is less than or equal to 7. So let's check it. 5 plus 3 is 8. Is 8 less than or equal to 7? Well, no, it's not less than or equal to, it's greater than. So we would put our line through it because it is not less than or equal to 7. It's actually greater than. So that statement would be no, it would be not true. Alright, example 2 is checking solutions. Again, this is very similar to what we had in the past. They're going to give us what the value of X or Y or Z in this case, and we tell it whether it's a solution or not. Our directions for this one look like this. Tell whether the given value is a solution of the inequality. Alright, so they give us x plus 1 is greater than 7. The reason I know that's a greater than symbol because it's actually opened up to the 1. That means it's greater than. They give me the answer for x. It should be 8. So all we're going to do is plug in that 8. Okay, so x equals 8 plus 1 is greater than 7. Is this a true statement? So now we just solve as much as we can. So we get 8 plus 1 is 9. Is 9 greater than 7? So you just ask yourself that question, and yes it is. So 8 is a solution of the inequality. If y equals 4 and they give me this inequality, 7y is less than 27, all I'm doing is filling in my value for y. So I have 7, oops, no, that's okay. 7 times 4 is less than 27. That's what they're asking me. So I'm going to solve it. 7 times 4 is 28. Is 28 less than 27? No, it's not. So my answer would be no. Y equal 4 is not a solution of the inequality. My last inequality says z divided by 3 is greater than or equal to 5. Z equals 15. So let's put that in. We've got 15 divided by 3. The question is it greater than or equal to 5? So now we just do our check. So 3 can go into 15 5 whole times. Is it greater than or equal to 5? Please don't forget that this little line underneath, that means it's equal to. So my answer would be yes, 15 is a solution of the inequality. The practice problems for 7.5 are pretty easy. They're just your on your own questions. There's 1 through 4, and then there is 5 through 7 on 2 separate pages. So you have 7 quick problems. I'll actually write them out on the page here so you can see them, and then you're finished. Alright, here are your practice problems. Like I said, these are just the on your own at the bottom of page 326 and 327. So if something you can't read or you're not understanding, please look back in your book. I know some of my words got a little bit closer together. So on this side over here, you're telling whether 3 is a solution of the inequality. So wherever there's a variable, you're plugging in 3. So that's all you need to do. And make sure these are done when you get to class. Good luck.